In this clip, we're about to watch Charlamagne Tha God really put Dana White on the spot over his relationship with Donald Trump. And honestly, this exchange caught me off guard a little bit because I expected Dana to come into this defensive and combative, especially considering how close he is to Trump publicly. But surprisingly, that's not really what happened here. There's also another section where they get into the controversy involving Dana White and his wife, but I'll leave the full interview linked below if you guys want to watch that part yourselves. For this video, though, I mainly want to focus on the Trump discussion because there was a lot revealed in this conversation. And by the way, if you guys enjoy these kinds of political breakdowns and real conversations without all the media spin, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload. So let's get into it.
You know, you were on the Katie Miller podcast, and you said, in regards to your relationship with Trump and has it cost the UFC business, you said, I don't give a shit. I don't know the answer to that question. I've gotten to a point in my life, especially after COVID and all that nutty shit that went on during that time, that I only want to be in business with and talk to people that I'm aligned with.
Well, I don't know about talk to people that I'm aligned, but I want to do business with people that I'm aligned with, for sure.
So you're aligned with Trump on what exactly?
Well, Trump is a good friend of mine. I mean, I've been friends with him for 25 years. Mm-hmm. Friends. I mean, he just happened to become the president of the United States. Mm-hmm. And he and I have never had he had us at the Trump Taj Mahal. When we first bought this company, the stigma that was attached to this thing, you can imagine, think about this, it wasn't allowed on pay-per-view. You as a grown adult didn't have the option to buy it on pay-per-view. Porn was on pay-per-view. The UFC was not allowed on that was the uphill battle we had. So you can imagine venues didn't want us because these guys were like, what kind of people will show up to watch this kind of an event? And he had us at the Trump Taj Mahal for the first two fights, 30 and 31, UFC 30 and 31. And then after we did those two fights, he showed up for the first fight of the night and stayed till the end for both events. And you think the Trump brand then and the UFC brand, and every good thing that ever happened to me in my career after that, he was always the first guy to reach out. So then when he was running in 16, he called me and asked me, would you speak for me at the Republican convention? And everybody told me not to do it. Don't do it. This is going to be bad. And he's never going to win and all that kind of stuff. But this was a guy that was always good to me and, always treated me well. And I did it.
I can understand that. That's your friend. But when your friend has a disapproval rating of 62%, right, record high, people say they don't like his handling of the Iran war, the economy's shitty, cost of living for people is fucked up. Why can't you tell your friend he's failing the people? As a friend.
Well, he's the president of the United States.
Still your friend, though.
And yeah, I know. But, for me to get involved in, it's like if your friend had I'm sure people disagree with you that are friends with you, and everybody has friends that you just doesn't mean you're not friends with them anymore. It doesn't mean that you.
Oh no, I didn't say you shouldn't be friends with them. I just said, why can't you tell your friend he's failing the people? Because these are the same people who make UFC a success.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree that he's failing the people. I think that when the president is done in 3 years, people will look back on and realize a lot of the good things. See, I'm closer to him too, and I see all the good things that he does that a lot of people, either don't see or don't want to see.
But tariff inflation has increased the price of household goods, increased utility bills because household electricity costs have gone up 9%. The failure to extend the Affordable Care Act has fucked up people's health care. Everyday working class people who support your sport are hurting.
You're never going to have a president that sits in the White House that everybody approves 100% of everything they do, and not everything is always going to be perfect. You're going to have some things that work out great and a lot of things that don't. It's no different than running a business or any other thing. Nobody's ever going to be absolutely perfect.
Oh, I agree.
When they're the president of the United States.
But can you tell your friend when he's...
Yeah, we talk about a lot of things, but I don't try to get into...
You like everything he's doing?
Like I just said, you're never going to agree with everything. But, as a friend, I'm not going out there and he and I have never, other than the first two UFC events, nothing with us is transactional.
So your relationship with Trump is bigger than business. It's actually personal.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a real friendship, not some type of, he has lots of friends, especially now that he's the president. We don't have that. We've had a 25-year real friendship and real relationship.
But don't be a glazer, though, Dana.
Don't be what?
A glazer. Like just somebody that just tells him he's great, a yes man, basically.
Yeah.
You gotta tell him when he's.
I don't think anybody's ever accused me of being a yes man.
Okay.
And I think that's that's part of. But listen, I'm not an overly political person either.
Are you part of the MAGA movement culturally? Do you align with their ideologies and their values?
You know, I consider myself right down the middle or leaning a little liberal, to be honest with you. Everybody thinks I'm some far right guy because of our relationship. I'm more about common sense. I'm a common sense guy. And if it makes sense to me, then I'm probably in.
So when you see the Joe Rogans, the Theo Vaughns, the Andrew Schultzes actually, calling out Trump and what they don't like, what do you think of that?
I think that everybody's entitled to their own opinions, and if there's things that you see that you don't like, and you want to be political, call them out.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Most CEOs try to stay politically neutral to protect the brand. You almost seem kind of like proud to be political, I guess.
Not proud to be political. I mean, I'm just saying that this guy is my friend, and nothing is perfect. And whoever is the next president, right or left, isn't going to be perfect either. I just think that I don't base my relationship with him on politics.
Well, what about when people say that you're the reason why a lot of young male voters, because of, you have seen everything that you have, voted for Trump? And that was something that, like, even if you didn't mean to do, it was widely talked about, and you still leaned into helping his popularity in the space.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
But that gets political then.
Yeah.
So you're responsible for the high tariffs and the high inflation costs, and
I guess so. I guess if that's the way you want to look at it,
for people,
it's all my fault.
No, I'm just saying you're responsible for people's healthcare getting cut. I'm just saying, like, that's what you're essentially saying.
Okay.
Jesus.
I mean, I that's not the way I look at it, but I guess I could see why you would look at it that way, and you could, frame it like that.
What's the craziest thing a fighter has asked you for besides money? Is there anything on the side that a fighter said, this is weird or this is strange?
Cocaine?
No, nobody's ever asked me for cocaine.
You heard that one loud.
Shit, I don't know. I mean, a lot of it. Well, to go with Charlamagne here, I got a fighter right now whose wife got grabbed by ICE. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
See your friend,
you see what I'm saying?
Was there a conversation with your sponsors or anybody on the business side when that video went viral of you and your wife in the club?
Yeah.
And with the slapping, with you slapping her slapping you?
Yeah.
When they reached out to you, what did they, like, how did that conversation go?
We didn't have any.
Dana White's answer tells you everything. What we saw here was not just a man defending a friend. It was a wealthy, powerful figure explaining, without really saying it directly, why the consequences ordinary people feel do not hit people like him the same way. And that is the real story. Dana can say, Trump is my friend, and I understand loyalty, I understand personal relationships, but friendship does not erase accountability. When your friend is the president and his policies affect healthcare, groceries, tariffs, utilities, and working class families, you do not get to hide behind, we go way back, as if that answers the question. Because the people feeling those consequences are the same people buying UFC tickets, paying for pay-per-views, wearing the merchandise, and building the empire that made Dana White so untouchable. That is why this exchange matters. Charlamagne was not asking Dana to stop being friends with Trump. He was asking something much simpler. If this is really your friend, why can't you be honest with him when people are hurting? And Dana never truly answered that. Instead, he kept circling back to loyalty, history, and personal respect. But that is the problem. For people at Dana's level, politics can stay personal because the damage stays distant. Tariffs do not shake his grocery budget. Healthcare cuts do not threaten his family. Rising costs do not decide whether he fills the tank or pays another bill. But for everyday Americans, those things are not abstract debates. They are real life. It is not always loud. It is not always cruel on the surface. Sometimes it is a rich man calmly explaining that his loyalty to another rich man matters more than the struggles of the people who made him rich in the first place. And honestly, that is why I thought this was such a strong interview. Most mainstream interviewers probably would not press Dana White like this. They would dance around it. They would treat him like someone too powerful to challenge directly. But Charlamagne stayed on the point. Lauren LaRosa stayed on the point. They made him sit inside the contradiction. Dana may not see himself as political. He may say he is just loyal to a longtime friend. But when your friendship becomes public influence, and that influence helps shape how millions of people view a president, then it is political whether you admit it or not. So for me, this clip should be shown to every working class voter who still believes these powerful figures are fighting for them. Watch how comfortable they are. Watch how untouched they are. Watch how quickly the conversation becomes, he was good to me, instead of what is happening to ordinary people. Trump's inner circle and celebrity supporters are not living with the consequences the way regular people are. And Dana White's response made that painfully clear. Let me know what you think. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.